welcome to the Alex Weber Show, and I am so excited for today. Now, this show is all about leading beyond the changes, challenges, and uncertainties so that we're unstoppable in achieving the goals that matter for you and everyone who needs you. Thank you for being here, and today's guest is incredible. He is the president of the Boys and Girls Club of America. I had the good fortune to speak at 5 leadership conferences for the Boys and Girls Clubs. Incredible leaders. This movement changes lives. So I had the great fortune to get to know Jim and was so excited to invite him on the podcast to share these leadership insights that are both inspiring and then also very practical. And I just am so excited for this episode. Thanks for being here. I'd love to hear what you think. And let's dive in with Jim Clark, president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Jim, absolute pleasure to drop in with you. You are quite a busy man with a lot going on, and it was so fun just to get to know you a little bit more and to join the movement. We joked the movement tour this last year, so thank you for welcoming me in.
Well, it's great to be with you, Alex, and thanks for being with us all last fall and talking to all of our teams across the nation about really what's important in terms of their leadership and how to go about life. So you did a great job, and glad to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. And, leadership is this grandiose term. We see it on textbooks. There's classes, there's institutions based off it. I really think it comes down to having an impact on people. And my question to you is, when you look at your life, who was one of the first leaders that really had an impact on you?
Yeah, Alex, great question. And, a couple things on that. First, I've always believed that you take a little bit from every leader you've ever worked with, especially the good stuff, and leave the things you didn't like about that leader behind. And that helps you form your leadership point of view.
Yeah.
But I would say, to answer your question, it starts at home, right? My dad was a professional engineer, and certainly I learned a lot about life from him. He grew up in the Great Depression, fought in World War II. So a very different type of upbringing than I had, but learned a lot of life's leadership lessons from him. And then when I got into the professional work field, there was one person I worked for that, again, a lot of great messages, and some I didn't care for, but a couple things that really stuck with me throughout my leadership journey and career. One that he always preached about was, if you want to be an executive, start walking like one, start talking like one, start dressing like one, start acting like one, and one day you'll be one. And you know what? It's an old adage, but it is so, so true. Another one is that it's easy to lead when things are good. It's up and to the right, and the seas are calm, and everybody's high-fiving. We find out, what our mettle is when the seas get rough and when the going gets tough, and how you handle things and how you deal with pressure, stress, and how you react to it. And, I worked for somebody that was really good in that space, and kind of always sat back and said, kind of brought calm to the whole front and got everybody to, not be emotional about things and think of it in a very proactive but positive and reality way. So, I learned a lot from a lot of different people, but those are a couple.
Wow. So good. So good. I need to take those to heart more and more in my own life. And now, as you are leading the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, what are some pillars that you really find yourself leaning on? Especially, we talked 2025, there's just so much going on. Where do you find that these are some foundational pillars for you?
Another great question. And I get asked a lot from our teams across the United States on, the leadership point of view, to your point, what are those pillars? What are those things? So, for me, I always talk about a few different things that, so at one point I wrote them on the mirror so I could see them in the morning. I don't anymore, to be honest, but I think I used to. One is that there's only 2 ways to go in life, whether it's personal or at work, professional. And if you think about it, it's pretty simple, because no matter what you're doing, you always want to earn more money. You want to live in a better house. You want to drive a nicer car. You want to do better in terms of your income and you want to do better at work, get promoted, elevated. So to me, it's about two things. It's either going up or down.
Mm.
I am not interested in down. And in our business, it's about kids and teenagers. Down means something bad for them. So it's all to me about up. Is the glass half full, glass empty? All of those things come into play. But I like the up and down analogy because it's really, really hard to be flat on anything,
Yeah.
or to hit double zero or zero on the roulette wheel. Very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's up or down. Which way do you want to go? So that's one thing I talk a lot about. And, another is that I talk about in terms of just today's world, right, that we live in. I think the years have gone by and we used to do a lot of things anecdotally, or, we'd take guesses or educated guesses. Today it's about data, right? And so I impart on everybody I talk to, in God we trust, all others bring data. And I think, there's a message there, right? It's funny, but there's a message there to pay attention to the numbers. People tell
Yeah.
great stories, and this is a storytelling, world today, and those are important. We do that too. But, what's the real data? Is it going up or down? So I think that's really important. And then the other thing I talk a lot about with leadership is kind of three principles that I try
Mm.
to apply. And they're pretty simple. It's about business acumen, relationships, and outcomes. And at least in our work, any category, anything you can think of fits in one of those three. And if you get really good at those, you're going to be really successful for sure. And if there's a last one, it is all about leadership. Make no mistake about it. And that means talent. And all of the old adages there hold true too. Hire slow, fire fast. Move on and get the best talent you can get, because that will be the difference maker.
Wow. So good. This is a masterclass going on here. I got one more for you because I'm really fascinated in this. You talked about looking at the ups and really guarding against the downs. Also, how in those stormy seas, really being even keel and stable. And I've been in sports, and it can get kind of intense. As you know, what are some skills or ways that you handle high intensity, high stress, high pressure moments to try to be level headed and really lead the best possibly?
Great question, Alex, as well. And I think there's a couple things that I always think about when when the pressure's coming on and the stress is building. And look, I have a board of directors, and they're the business leaders of America, and they don't like hearing no, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be really well prepared. And so that's one thing when the pressure's on and it gets stressful. Don't knee jerk. Sit back, prepare, plan, develop what your message is going to be, what you're going to talk about, get inputs from others, especially again when the stress is high and your immediate reaction is very off the top. Get input, get others to help you think about it. And I guarantee you will come up with a better answer than what you would have done on your own under a lot of pressure. Now, you may only have 5 minutes. Get one or two other opinions on it really quick, because I think it'll make a significant difference as as you think about it. And then the other thing that, at least in our business, happens is we got so much going on, and most companies do. And it's about prioritizing, especially in a very, very difficult time and things are coming at you. And so I always kind of set back, and I tell our team this too. If everything's important, nothing's important. What's the most important thing here we got to deal with right now? And let's carve everything else away. Let's get down to one thing. Let's tackle it, deal with it, and then we'll go to the next.
Yeah.
But setting these priorities and not getting overwhelmed is really important.
Such a critical lesson, especially now. I say this is the noisiest time on planet Earth. It is. And so just honing in on what matters most. One last question for you. Okay. You're at a conference and there's a newer member. Okay. And then someone, a seasoned employee that you've worked with that really knows you. You're talking to them both, and then you leave. About you, what does the seasoned employee say to the new hire? What do you hope they say?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably a guess, but I've worked hard throughout my career in different leadership positions to always be approachable and to listen.
Yeah.
And words matter, and what people say matters. When you're talking to somebody, concentrate on them.
Mm,
So I think our seasoned employee would say to the new one, "Hey, he's the president or the CEO, but he's super approachable. You're gonna like him. Send him an email or stop him in the hall or call him. He'll talk to you.
yeah.
That's what it's all about." And to me, the moral to that story is our single greatest asset is our people. And you need to treat them that way. They are the treasure chest of your entity, of your enterprise. And the better you get at that, and it's hard to be perfect, but the better you get at that and making sure you're approachable, again, you will learn a lot of lessons from a lot of different people in your enterprise.
Wow. So good. And truly, I can attest to that. Being there, sometimes we were in the early morning or the afternoon joining you all for 6 times. I really got to witness how people are around you and truly exactly what you're saying approachability, respect, and a true connection. So it was beautiful to witness. Amazing to join you all. And Jim, I so appreciate you joining me today.
Absolutely. Happy to do it anytime, Alex. I think you do a great job, and we were fortunate to have you with us.
Thank you, Jim. Woo! I love it. Such amazing leadership pearls that are motivating and tactical. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe. You can share this with a friend or a leader or nominate your leader or yourself to be on the podcast. I love it. Here's to being unstoppable. The challenges and the changes don't stop. So the answer is that you are unstoppable. See you next time.